Hey YouTubers, I got another flourishing video here for you today. This time around I'm going to teach you how to do a good one-handed fan. Alright, now there's a lot of different ones out there, some much harder than others, they also look better usually. But I'm going to teach you the simplest one I got here. It's a nice, easy to perform one, and you can get it pretty reliable without too much trouble. Now I'll tell you the only downside to this one is you can't really do it with a full deck because it just doesn't spread the cards enough to get a decent fan out of them. About half the deck works really well though. And if you can get, and you want this one, you want to learn with both hands, and then you can do half the deck in each hand. My left hand's not quite as good as my right hand. I'm right-handed, what can I say? And there's a nice little one-hand fan you can do. Now, like I said, you need about half the deck. Oh, and like my other fanning video, excuse me, you need a good set of cards that's nice, got a nice slick surface on it, so you can get a good spread. Because if your cards stick together too much, then they're not going to want to cooperate no matter how good you're doing. So take about half the deck, and you want to take it, this is how I start, into straddle grip, which is this right here. It's basically resting on these two fingers, but you have these two on the side to hold it in place. You got your thumb on the top. And then you want to let it go with these fingers, so you're just holding it between these. And that allows you to get these two fingers on the bottom and your thumb in the place, and then your index finger can come around, so you're holding it like this. And then all you do really is your thumb goes this way and your bottom fingers go that way. You know, without the cards it'd be like this. Kind of like snapping your fingers, but you're going to do it with like all three of these. And or maybe just with these two if you prefer. See, this is what happens when I use just two of these. Tend to kind of try to get away from me, so I usually have all three on there. And that's really all that there is to it. You want to squeeze the deck, and it should kind of pop like that to get a good fan out of it. If you try to, oops, there we go. If you try to just push it, you're going to end up with this, where it's kind of fans out, but you get junk. You want to kind of pop it. And whereas the deck will probably flex just a little bit. You see how this kind of curves? You should be putting a decent amount of pressure on it. Don't be trying to just crush it, but a good amount of pressure on it. And again, like any other fan or spread technique, you're going to have to just play around with this a little bit to get a feel for it. Because it's really a knack more than anything else. You just get a good feel for it. And of course, you definitely want to try and learn. But anything you do with only one hand, you want to learn it so you can do it with either hand. So you can make two fans. And the way you can quickly make two fans, I take the whole deck like this, riff off about half, and then I roll it over like that. So I have it in straddle grip in both hands, and then I just flip it into that position both and do the exact same thing on both. I was going slow there, so I didn't do it very well. That's, dropped a couple cards that time. Do two fans, and then you can do this. Makes a nice little sound. Just drag these cards over this. Now you don't go this way where the cards jam into each other, but you can do that. And then again, I'm going slow to demonstrate, and it throws me off here. That, and then you can just kind of pop them both closed. I throw the pause in there. Alright, it throws me off. I don't know why. That. And you can kind of cock your wrist in a little bit to help sling those cards back towards the center, and then you put them back together and square them all up. With a little practice you should be able to do it fairly well, and you can hold them up to be able to see, and then like that. And the deck, with a little practice, you can get it so it just slides right back together, and you know, looks real nice. There's one other thing you can do with this also. Once you can do a nice reliable fan in both hands, then you can do the S fan, which the S fan is just this right here. It looks, now once I get to the finished position, you know, it's kind of an S shape, and when I'm just holding it like this, it seems like a pretty impossible way to get the cards arranged. But you can probably follow what I did there is all I did was 2 one-handed fans, and then I just slid this over, stuck it right underneath that one, and held it. So, and then to close it, just pull it up. You can do it like that, or if you want, you can actually kind of close the whole S up the way it was. And that can look pretty impressive to a spectator who's not familiar with what's going on. Because if you can do this quick enough, you know, you're not trying to hide exactly, but you went from a deck to this big S fan, and the movement was so quick and fast in between that they didn't quite follow what you did, and you know, it just seemed it's a nice little display you can do once you can do 2 of those one-handed fans, 1 in each hand. So that's a nice simple one-handed fan. Again, there are other techniques. Lots of one-handed fans. Some of them you can do a whole deck with. This particular one, again, about half the deck's about the most you can get a good fan out of. So practice that a little bit, and you'll have a nice little one-handed fan.